Hi everybody, you found the Rect Mom. My name is Emily and today I'm so excited to be telling you a little bit about my experience with cloth diapers and how I used them, and then as well I want to talk a little bit about elimination communication, just because I'm always surprised when I bring up elimination communication to somebody, especially somebody with a kid the same age as my baby, and they have never heard of elimination communication. So I wanted to talk briefly about that, but first let's get into the cloth diapering stuff. So if you are old to this channel, you may have seen my video. You might have been one of the 20 people who watched my video on what I was going to be doing differently this pregnancy, and one of those things was cloth diapering, and there were a ton of reasons to it. So I want to kind of touch back on why I was wanting to cloth diapering, if it was worth it, my experience, that kind of stuff. First of all, I think I purchased like 36 cloth diapers off of Facebook Marketplace, so secondhand, and it was $150 for all the diapers, all the liners, as well as the attachment to the toilet to hose the diapers off over top of the toilet. So that is what I purchased. Now, that being said, I will say cloth diapers are a challenge the first 3 months just because babies are so small and cloth diapers are so big. So we did find that a little bit challenging. We used more disposable in the beginning when they were gifted to us and stuff like that. And then as well, overnight, it is hard to cloth diaper, okay? Because you have to be changing constantly. Like, I don't know if I just had it wrong, but like if I didn't have him changed every 2 hours, he was leaking. So they're not forgiving. So at nighttime, I was like, you know what? It's not beneficial to him or me because he slept so well to be waking him up for a bum change every 2 hours. We did use disposable overnight. During the day, cloth diapers, we barely spent anything on disposable, honestly, because when you're using like only 1 or 2 a night and then changing as soon as they're up for the morning or as soon as you're up for the morning back to cloth diapers, then you really are not going to need that many. And I always gave sitters the option for cloth. So I did start working very early. So when people were with him during the day, the option for disposable. So people who were with him during the day, I would always leave them with disposable diapers that they could use if they would like to. We had tons of brands. The first few months, Easy Peasies were the best. They are just smaller and I just found them way easier with him when he was 3 all the way till he was like 9 months. They were my absolute favorite. He started getting really big, and then the Alva babies, that was what we had the most of. So honestly, that's what I use the most, and most of the cloth diapers are kind of all the same to me as far as the brands we had. I did not like, I can't remember what the brand's called. This is the one I really did not like. I always gravitated away from them. But yeah, the Easy Peasies were the best the first few months, and then from there the Alva babies is what I used most of. But we had so many different brands and they pretty much universal. Now, elimination communication. We started at about 2 months old. We got him his first potty for Christmas when he was 2 months and just started putting him on it. Now, if you have never heard of elimination communication, it is literally just listening to your baby's cues when you think they need to toilet. And it got to the point where he would start to fuss when he needed to go. Like, we could really start to figure it out. You will just start to learn your baby's language. I know it's confusing at first, but if you just put yourself on a schedule, like say every time they feed or, you know, before a nap or when they wake up, you put them on a schedule, their body will follow it naturally. And it worked really well, I will say, the first 7 months. Then when I started working a lot more, it became a lot more challenging because it's hard to get people on board with it. It's hard to make them understand your baby's cues, and he has become like resistive to it. So I'm not really sure what to do now, but I did want to share that that is an option, and especially if you're going to be home with your kids long term. Elimination communication was what they did back in the day before they switched over to waiting for your kid to be ready or till they tell you or whatever it may be. But it was just kind of like, look, just learn their cues, put them on the potty, and it's so much simpler. So there was a point when he would go all day with a dry diaper. There was a point when he would go all night with a dry diaper. I shouldn't say all day, but like he would go all day between toiletings with a dry diaper, if that makes sense. So he would, every time he would use the potty, he would go, and we never had a wet diaper. But one thing that we always made sure of, especially in the beginning, is every time they use the potty, change their diaper so that they have the comfort of a clean, dry diaper. It's a reward to them. They feel as if that's kind of what made the dry diaper happen. Babies do not naturally like to sit in wet diapers. Now, this is another way that I kind of found the cloth diapers worked really well with the elimination communication, because you have to change them so frequently, you have to be consistent, so it's easy to be on a toileting schedule, but also they feel wet sooner, and babies really don't like that, so they're more likely to enjoy the reward of toileting because the fresh diaper is like so rewarding to them. Whereas a disposable diaper, it just really absorbs because of the way it absorbs. it's just easier to ignore, and it's easier for them, like their bodies, to ignore it. So if you have the option to do cloth diapers and be at home doing elimination communication, you actually don't even have to worry about the whole cloth diapering as much, because your diapers will just be cleaner, easier to wash, that kind of stuff. But let's talk about cleaning cloth diapers. Now, they are not the funnest thing to clean. So essentially, if you have a big dry bag, a big wet bag, and you just clean them and put them in there as you go, it'll be really, really easy to clean. But you have to be consistent. You cannot take a break from it. You have to be consistent. You have to be thorough, especially when I was working, where it became challenging to stay on top of. So definitely, I think if you have the option, like if you're staying at home and you have the option to cloth diaper and do elimination communication, they can both work really well. And cloth diapering can be so simple if you just stay on top of cleaning them. Now, like I said, we had an attachment for our toilet, and you basically, well, we still have it, we still use it, but we have an attachment for our toilet where you basically hose it off as soon as they have a bowel movement. You hose it into the toilet, and then you just put it in the bag, and you just like take out the liner, put it in the bag, and then if you need to, put some baking soda on it. The other thing is when a baby is totally breastfed. Now, Mickey was never actually totally breastfed. It was quite early on. We started him on formula just because I wasn't producing enough, so we needed to supplement. So because of that, he was never totally breastfed. But totally breastfed babies, their poop is water soluble. So ideally, if it's like a thick poop, which usually it's not, like just breastfed babies are not having like poops. It can just actually be completely cleaned out in the wash, and then if you are able to dry in the sun, it will actually sanitize it and clean it for you. Like, it's an incredible system. Crazy, isn't it? So anyways, yeah, I just wanted to talk a little bit about that, touch on that, and tell you guys a little bit about my cloth diapering experience and elimination communication. Oh, I guess I can talk really quick about like potties and stuff, because he has a preference, and I don't know if that matters, but he definitely prefers a lower potty where his feet can be planted on the ground. This was something I didn't take into consideration when he was so tiny. The other thing is you're definitely gonna have to play with positions. And I recommend getting a travel seat where you can just like fold it up and bring it with you and use it while you're out and about, because they are gonna want something that consistently feels the same. It's hard to use the washroom at someone else's house when it's so different. So for example, if they use the same potty at home all the time and it's like a little kid's potty, and then you go to your parents' house for dinner and you try and put them on that potty, they're gonna be confused. They're not gonna understand what they're doing. But if you have a seat that you can just like collapse into a bag, and they've used it at home and they've used it at grandma and grandpa's, they might even start going when you're out and about. Oh, the other thing I get asked about is like my water bill. I never noticed a difference in my water bill doing cloth diapers. When it's me home, I still use the cloth diapers, but it's definitely not as consistent. So we have noticed our diaper bill go up, but again, I haven't noticed a change in our water bill. It hasn't gone down. So yeah, anyways, I just wanted to tell you guys a little bit about my experience with cloth diapers, and I do think it was well worth it to get them. I do think if I had stayed at home longer, it definitely would have been more worth it. So if you're planning to be home longer, definitely think about cloth diapering. Definitely think about elimination communication. They're just like great options for your kids. But I just wanted to tell you guys my experience so far and say that I think that had I been home longer, it would have made the difference. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions about cloth diapering or elimination communication that maybe I, with a perspective, could answer, I would love to try anything you have to say. If you guys have tried cloth diapering, tips and tricks you have. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Go check out my Pinterest if you're interested, and have a great rest of your week. I will see you next week with a new video.